Well, it's a little weird getting started talking to a GoPro in your garage by yourself. I refuse to say, "What's up, YouTube?" If you do say that, you like that, that's okay. But can't bring myself to do that. However, I wanted to tell you about an interesting phone call I got today. This is a review video. I'm going to be reviewing the great big router from Festool, the 2200, and their router table, the standalone. Anyway, so I get a phone call. It's a big long phone number, weird area codes, and it was from Germany. I gathered that when I answered. I'm like, hello, and this guy goes, "Yeah, my name is Franz Festool, calling from the Festool Corporation International. Is this Chuck Thunderberg?" To which I reply, yes. He says, "I've heard of your fame and fortune, your great success with the YouTube has reached my ears here in Germany and Austria. We would like to know if you would do some tool reviews." I said, well, I'm flattered by that, naturally, but I'm a busy man, Franz. I can't just drop what I'm doing every day to help out struggling businesses looking to get their name spread far and wide. He goes, "Well, it has been brought to my attention that you have 31 subscribers. Perhaps you would like to..." I'm trying to think what he said. "Perhaps you would like to, I don't know, I can't remember. Anyway, he wanted me to talk to you guys about their tools." And I said, well, I mean, I suppose I could throw together something, quickly. I can't spend a lot of time on it. I'm a very busy man. He says, "Well, it's just that you're the hottest thing to come out of America since the David Hasselhoff." I said, well, David Hasselhoff, he is an accomplished man, but, well, I do have 31 subscribers. My last video, at the time of this recording, has 93 views, so I said, all right, well, I mean, I'll try to help you out. Yeah, I'll throw something together, so that's that, and, yeah, here we go. A couple of neat things about it that you might not know. Yes. Alright, so this is my second try putting audio over this video. It's harder than I thought to make it all line up. So anyway, here's the router. Really big, really powerful, really nice. If you get it, get the little accessories kit that you can get with that. Tons of different, not tons, but a bunch of different bases come with that. Really cool, super fast and easy to swap out. Good stuff. Yes. So I might have slowed that down too much. I want to make sure I have plenty of time to explain. So anyway, got a nice big hole that you can reach through to change out the collet. It's all very easy. All the green stuff does stuff. That's kind of an easy way to remember that. So, phone call. That was Hans calling back again. He called like every 20 minutes during this whole thing. He's like, "Yeah, how's the video coming? I keep refreshing on the YouTube and I don't see it posted." I'm like, "Hans, my gosh, it's been an hour. I had to use the bathroom. I made a sandwich. And then I stood around. Anyway, so it's got a little ratcheting collet on there, so it's a lot faster. Here. I made that sound with my mouth. So all the sound effects I will be providing solely just me. So anyway, click. Swapping out the bases can't be easier than that. Putting the little guide bearing bushing rather in there, super easy. Very fits perfect. It doesn't wiggle around at all. You don't have to use the little centering mandrel like you do with a crappy router that's on my shelf in the other room. So that's pretty quick and easy. Pretty great. It also comes with one of the little plates that just has a hole in it for those little two-part brass ones, like that one that screws together. So if you have to have some oddball, long, weird one for like a dovetail jig or something like that. Although using that thing on a dovetail jig is kind of cumbersome, but it can be done. So that's handy. There's a little dust collection cup dealio. It's pretty great. It actually works remarkably well. I will demonstrate that in a moment. Here it comes. Click. See if that lines up. Yeah, there it is. Dust extraction works great. So here. So You can see there's just really no dust at all. Pretty awesome. It's like a 3/4 inch radius bit there. You can see it took out a lot of material. Not really any dust. It's got that handy little round window clear plastic thingy that spring loaded, shoots down there. There's a little button on the same hand as when you pull the trigger to start it. Boop. See if that lines up or not. So that's pretty cool. What are we doing here? So I'm showing you how to adjust the depth of cut. So you just unlock that, select what post you want on the little turret, zero everything out. There you go. Plop that down there. A little micro adjust ring at the top that I'm getting ready to touch here in a second. There you go. That is every click is 1/10 of a millimeter, so that's pretty fine. So you just raise that up to 10 millimeters, dial it in a little bit more if you want to get it perfect, and then when you unlock the depth on the router itself, you can plunge down precisely 10 millimeters or whatever you set on there. That's probably not super easy to follow, but if you had one in front of you, it makes sense. So fast and handy, pretty neat. There's a little wheel adjusts the speed from slow to fast. It also has medium, slow, moderate, fast. That's metric. There's a little parallel guide. It's really well designed. Super easy to use. Got a little micro adjust on the back of that too. So pretty much any green thing serves some sort of function. I guess everything serves a function, but it does stuff. It's in laying out a line for like if you're going to put a panel in the back of a cabinet. It's really simple to do this without having to do a couple of trial cuts or eyeballing the router bed or anything like that. It's got these little vertical lines etched on 3 sides of the base. You can see the one right there in front of the green switchy-do thing at the bottom of the base there, where my finger points. So that lines up perfectly with the center of the spindle on the router. So if you just get 2 of those sitting on that line, you know that you're lined up perfectly on the center of that line. So that's how that works. Pretty great. Get her flipped around here. So you can see the line a little better. So the little edge guide is a 2-part thing, and so the top part of it can actually move back and forth with the little micro adjust thing, so it gets you dialed in real perfect. A little trouble fiddling that in there. So then there's a little micro adjust knob. Turn that, get you dialed in with that little vertical line that I think you can't really see, but trust me, it's there. It's glorious. And dust extraction, awesome with that little window plopping down there. Works good. Vroom, vroom. Oh, there. Yeah. If you're doing your cutting off the edge of something or putting a rabbit on something or whatever you'd use like that, you can put dust collection at the bottom of it also, which is cool because then it sucks it down through the top of that, where the top of the router where the hose usually hooks up to. Just showing that it's got a picture in the top, all your different little bases. That's the one that goes on the track, so it's got a little offset step on it that is pretty cool. So that way when you're hanging halfway off, it doesn't try to rock or anything. It's the same. The little offset is the same thickness as the track itself. So handy, and it does work great. So that's backwards. There you go. There's a micro adjust on that as well. It all sets up pretty quick and easy. Oh, phone call again. I borrowed my Nana's phone for this video. Mine's, that's mine, I guess. There's your micro adjust I keep obsessing on and on about. Slide, slide, slide. So here it is with the router table. In the US, Festool recommends the 1400 for the router table. As to why, I can only speculate. I'm guessing it's some sort of regulatory boo-hawk on our part. Overseas, they all use the 2200 in all the videos. Well, I don't know about all of them, but there's videos from Festool showing them using the 2200 and explaining how to do that. When you go to put it on there, you want to make sure you unlock that thing, move that thing up out of the way. You want to turn the turret to the shortest one. That way you can crank it up as high as it'll possibly go when it's upside down, underneath the router table. I made that mistake for about 6 months, so it could have come up another quarter inch or some millimeters if you're overseas. So you take the base off when you hook it up. The router table, if you buy it in the US, the router table comes with the 2 rings that you need to adapt it to the table, which is another kind of funny thing, since they say not to use it, but if you do buy it, they'll help you hook it up, so you must not be too worried about it. So that comes in the bag of stuff with the router table, that little cup there to keep the dust out of the motor. So there it tells you that they intend you to use it upside down, or they're not sweating it too bad. So then another thing that comes with it is a little green plastic ring and this little metal rectangle that you have to screw to the side of the router. That's another funny thing. It's got the little slot on the side of the router for putting that metal tab on there that its only purpose is for the router table. So push it down, lock the thing down, in the plunged position. Then one of the kids. Then you got 2 sides on this: the skinny side and the fat side. Fat side faces up, put a little knobby do on there, and there you go. So if you're thinking I'm crazy and that you're not allowed to use that, you gotta wonder, why do they supply it with that, and why is there a slot missing, or right there to put that thing on there? They're clearly designed it to be on that table. So the table comes with this little metal doodad on it in the US anyway. That's for if you're using the 1400, so just take that off of there. So I watched a video of some German guy speaking German, so I don't know what he's saying. He's like, "Yeah, put on the 2200, it rocks und rolls all day, sweet Susie." So take the little green ring that comes in your Ziploc bag full of stuff when you buy the router table, click that on there, flop that down in there. Now when you put that little metal thingy in that hole in the table and you get the other part underneath, the little plunging arm sticking up there, or whatever you call that, it'll click down in place. And if it's not clicked down in place, you're not in there right. So just kind of wiggle that around, you'll feel it. Then you can unlock it and it'll press up against there. Then just screw those little doodads down and you're most of the way there. Hook up your dust extraction. Plop. And then just put it down in there. There's 2 little finger holes for your fingers. That keeps you from pinching it or slamming it. Plop those down. Turn these little screws, and then it's locked in place. That's about one of the only things I actually need to use a tool for. Then you got a little ringy-do that comes in your Ziploc bag. You can do the height adjustments from the tabletop like everybody else's router, but it's really nice. Several different places you can start that at. It's got these little slots to screw that down through. There's the little millimeter markings with a couple little lines etched in the table, so that way you can get it parallel with the face of that thing if you want. And just straight edge, plop it up against till it touches the guide bearing on the router bit. So this is basically just to demonstrate how good the dust collection is. This is I believe a 1/2 inch roundover bit, so it makes a lot of dust if you don't have anything hooked up. But you're collecting your dust from the bottom of this thing and from the back when you use the fence. There's Will. He just got a new whistling glow-in-the-dark slingshot something or other. So that's what this is. Boing. Well. So anyway, here we go. I will now make more sound effects for your listening joy, pleasure. You can see all the sawdust blowing around inside of there, like a little snow globe. But as you can see, there's no dust. All clean. You don't have big sawdust boogers after working on the router table all day. So it's got a really weird looking featherboard thingy there. It's got 2 of them. The black one, you just mash it down against it. It holds it flat, or it's tight to the table. You just shove it down and then twist a little knob, and that tightens it in place. And then the other little knob, when you shove that one forward, that keeps it tight to the fence, and then just tighten it down. So you can see it's a pretty quick, easy setup on that. And there's a little lever behind it that unlocks it so you can lift it all up out of the way to get the height set on your bit. There will be some editing magic here in a moment to show that from the back. It's pretty awesome. It's incredible. It's glorious. Here it comes. Wait for it. Ooh. But it does work really well. Just show it through there. It holds it really tight. Very safe. Look how far my fingers are from danger. Also not dusty. So I forget what this thing is called, but it slides back and forth with a little thingy on it. So if you're doing rails and styles for doing the little skinny end of something, this is really nice. I discovered you don't really use it a ton, but when you do need it, it's really awesome. Here in a moment I'll demonstrate how to cut just a little bit off the end of it, which is stupid. And right about now, bzz. I'm like, wait, did I hear that? It didn't sound like pine. My son comes over to evaluate. It did not collect the shavings from the metal fence. Apparently it was heavy enough to shoot free. Horrified. But pretty cool. Change the angle on that. It slides really nice. There's no play in it at all. Like you can't lift it up off there. You have to slide it off the end. So it's super perfect. Fence is kind of neat. A couple different ways you can orient that. And you can unhook the whole big deal and slide it over to the right too. Then there's a little out-feed table I put on here in a second. And I think you could put it as an in-feed table too if you wanted. I'm not sure. Actually, I haven't tried that. I discovered you really don't hardly ever need the out-feed table. I went ahead and bought it anyway just for the heck of it. But in hindsight, I didn't really need it that bad. But who knows? Maybe later. The little table is pretty neat though. I don't know why I switched that around so much. Oh yeah, there you go. So there's a little out-feed table. I filmed about 10 minutes worth of how to get this thing dialed in perfect, but I just decided that it's sure made for a long video, so yeah. There's a bunch of little knobs and screws and whatnot. It's not rocket surgery, figure that part out. So you can adjust the fence, open it up wider. It'll open up a lot wider than that too if you have some big huge panel cutting bit or something interesting on there. There's just 2 little set screws you got to undo to slide it out a little bit more because it only has so much travel. Then this big knob on the back there, moves just the right side of the fence forwards and backwards. So if you have to offset the fences for some application that I'm not demonstrating, you can. Just kind of showing how you can get it back to where it's perfectly flush. Once the little straight edge slides on across, you know you're good. That's about that. Pretty cool. Worth the money if you use it for much. It's pretty neat. Buy 2 of them if you get a chance.